Hello, welcome! Now today I wanted to do something a little bit different and basically just share with you my worst ever audition experience. So yeah. The reason why I'm sharing it, hopefully you do want to hear it, but it's just in hopes that it will help you learn what to do and what don't to do and just learn from my mistakes, you know. And then we all go through things for a reason and this definitely taught me a lot, so hopefully you learn from it as well. Now to start off, there was nothing wrong with the production or the people a part of it or any sort of thing like that. This was purely down to me, my responsibilities and my muck-ups, let's say. So yeah, I just want to put that out there, but I'm not going to share the actual project or the production company or anything like that because I don't need to. It's not their fault. This is all down to me, but yeah, I just wanted to put that in there. Just put it in there. So it was 2018 and by this point I've had my fair share of in-person auditions. Like, yes, I've had quite a few by this point, so I was a little bit confident, a little bit cocky, and I thought I was going to smash it, you know, but spoiler alert, I didn't. You know, I was prepared, I knew all my lines, I prepped it. It was quite a lengthy monologue, but it was nothing too odd from, you know, what I was kind of used to, so I just took that all in my stride and done everything like I normally do. So all my preparation was all done and it was finally the day for me to drive all the way to Manchester for this audition. Now, bear in mind, I probably have been driving for about a year or two by this point and, you know, I started to get comfortable with driving and on the motorway. But Manchester was the furthest that I've driven, especially for an in-person audition. But like I've said to you guys before, I made sure to leave with enough time, or more than enough time, leave a little bit of gap just in case things go wrong, and enough time for me to, you know, get myself settled and prepared before the audition. So I left and the predicted time said I was going to be there about 20 minutes, half an hour beforehand for my audition. So I was like, yes, perfect. This is all going to go swimmingly. But of course it didn't. So, as you do, I'm driving on my way to Manchester, I'm saying my lines out loud in the car because often that's what I do, especially when it comes to monologues. I find that if you're able to multitask, it kind of shows that you've been able to embed the lines. Of course, be safe when you're driving, but I was more than enough capable of being able to do both and, you know, I was feeling confident and loving life. I was ready to go. But as I'm driving to Manchester, I didn't realise that there was going to be so many roadblocks and road problems. Yes, lots of roadworks, that's the word. Lots of roadworks on the way and I just started to see my time go up and up and up. And yeah, it wasn't fun. And what it meant that I was going to get to the car park, which I planned the night before, where I was going to park and walk to my audition. That was going to arrive there 5 minutes before my audition time in the room. I was breaking it. I was so stressed and I finally got to the car park, parked my car, legged it to the audition place. There wasn't anyone to check in, so when I got inside I just saw a few other people just sitting outside one of the rooms. I asked them, is this the room? They said it's the room and I literally had like 2 minutes to spare. Like, oh, it's my worst fear for this to happen. Like, I'm not even kidding. It is my worst fear. So yes, I get in there, I do what I always do. I always go to the toilet first before an audition because I was absolutely bursting. I've been driving for a couple of hours and I needed to go. Went to the toilet, done my business, and when I came out I realised that they were over a couple minutes and someone reassured me that don't worry, they're just, you know, they're running late essentially. So I was like, cool, I can sit down and start looking at my lines. I'm looking at my lines and the person next to me is being really friendly and started talking to me. Me being me, I don't want to, you know, be rude. So I start talking to him, introduce myself, but then it gets to a point I'm like, I'm really sorry, but I'm kind of stressed and you can see that I kind of come in late. I need to run through my lines, otherwise bleh. They got the gist, they were so cool and they were like, yes, of course, you do you. So I quickly try and look through my lines, the door opens and they're like, Gemma, Wallace, come in. So I come in, okay? Now, I get into the room and I just see 2 people in there. There's a chair in the middle of the room, they have a desk, their setup, camera, whatnot, the usuals. When I get in, they're pretty much like, okay, are you ready to go? Me being me, I was like, yep, I'm ready. In my mind I was like, yes, let's smash this, we got this, you know, I've got the first line in my head and I'm all good. So I get to go into the space and they were like, oh, just to let you know that we're going to have the other person stepping in as the other character in the role and they're going to be sitting down. This completely threw me off because in my mind the other person was standing up in the scene, you know, that I was delivering the monologue to. But I didn't say anything and I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine, that's fine. And it completely threw me off. Like, of course you're supposed to be adaptable and being able to work in the moment, but because I was just so fixated on the person standing, and it completely threw me off and I was just a bit overwhelmed that I didn't say anything and I just went with it. And they were like, okay, when you're ready. So I just tried to stand there, just deep in, breathe out, and think of my first line. And by the way, they were really lovely and they were like, would you like your script in hand? Me and being a bit cocky, I was like, no, I don't need it. Trying to look all professional and shit. But yes, so I don't have my script in my hand, that little comfort zone that you have, that little safety blanket. And I'm about to perform and I close my eyes, I open my eyes and I blanked. I literally, I didn't know what my first line was. Like, I completely blanked and I kind of froze and I was like, ugh, you know, in your mind, your little inner monologue was like, oh my god, I can't believe I've just done this. And obviously it's being filmed and the director's watching me and all of these stresses going on in my head. Luckily, well, fortunately, I jumped to the second line. I go straight to the second line and try to perform it. I get about, what I remember about a couple of lines into it, and again, I'm like, I don't know my words, I don't know them, and I freeze. And I was just kind of honest. I was like, sorry, do you mind if I do this again? It's completely blanked. I'm very, very sorry. Can I just go again? They were so lovely. They were like, yes, of course. Start from the top, crack on. Okay, cool. Round 2. I get ready in the zone. I'm all there. Think of the first line. I had a quick look at the script, what my first line was as well. And I was like, okay, cool, that's my first line. I got this, I got this. Just breathe. Trying to realise what room I'm in. Crack on. Open my eyes. And I start my monologue. I'm delivering it, giving it, trying to move around a little bit. But you can clearly tell the whole time I'm trying to think of the next line. That is the worst thing for you to do. But of course I was doing it because I was flipping. I just wasn't in the room. My head was still out the room. But yeah, I just wasn't in it and I'm performing it and not really performing it very well. And I hit the same roadblock of the same line and I freeze. And I'm looking at the other person who's supposed to be the other character and I'm just like, you know, I'm trying to milk it a bit, trying to, you know, I don't like freezing. I hate freezing and I always try and roll with it. But I'm, you know, performing in the moment, having those blank spaces. I done a bit of a Joey, I paused, but yeah, I completely blanked. And I was starting to get kind of overwhelmed and I was getting really like, I am messing up this audition big time. I've never done this before like this and I'm flipping. I'm not in the zone. As you can see, I wasn't in the zone. So after that he was like, all right, let's stop a minute. And I was so apologetic. I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. I just can't, I'm really sorry. And they were like, don't worry about it. You know what? Have the script in hand and don't worry if you look at your lines. You know, it's all about your performance and your portrayal of the character and your interpretation. Who cares about the lines in some ways, basically? And they were like, we just want to see you perform. We want to see you comfortable and confident. So I have the script in my hand and I'm like, okay, it's fine. I've just got the script in my hand. I can just glance at it and it's perfectly fine. And they were so cool about it. So I give it a third try. And I'm performing it and I get through it all, you know, things go okay. I try to, you know, work in the moment, go with my instinct. I try to move around in the space because, you know, that person was just stuck in the middle and I didn't have any eye contact. So I was just trying to work with it. But for me, I just knew something wasn't gelling. I just wasn't in it. As much as I tried, I just wasn't connected with the character. And it was one of my poorest auditions I feel like I've ever performed. But I get through it, you know, they're like, well done. And then after that, we get through the general chitter chatter, all the questions, all the information and, you know, general questions you have. I always try to make sure that I have one question for them. Always. And I did. And they were absolutely lovely. All of that side of it went well. But you know in yourself when you know that you've just royally messed up. And I was done. I was just so... out of it, and I just was so embarrassed. That's what it was. I was just so embarrassed. But yeah, after the questions, I was out the room, next person's in, and done. That was it. Like, yeah, I was done. I walked back to my car, get in my car, and I'm literally just like, I couldn't believe what I'd done. Honestly, I've never felt that horrible after an audition because of myself, my own performance, my own preparation. It was all my fault, you know, and reflecting on it, well, I'd like to know I'm not the only one who does this, but after a kind of a big moment when you're really flustered and you want to cry, you phone someone. I phoned my other half and I was like, I've messed this up, I've just fucked up everything, I'm not going to get the role, they hate me, they're never going to want to see me again. All of these things were running through my head and I was like, I've messed this up big time. You know, these auditions were happening all over the UK and I was like, this is the first time I've ever met them and they've seen this of me and they're going to think I'm a terrible actor and I've just ruined the biggest opportunity of my life. And as you can probably guess, I didn't get the role. No. But it was a big learning curve, you know, and reflecting on it now, it just made me realise that even though I'd done all the preparation I thought I could have and done as much as I felt I did and I was ready, not having enough time to get myself there and to get into the right frame of mind before my audition is just so key for me. Like, how much just a simple thing of almost being late and that representation of me being late and not being, you know, very on time, it just completely threw me off and I was just out of it. And yeah, it was an eye-opener, the fact of not just the audition is important, it's the lead up and the preparation before it, not just your characterization. And yeah, for me, even though I'm always early and this was literally the one-off time, the only time so far that I've ever almost been late, now I make sure I'm even earlier. Like, I don't want that stress. I get so overworked and overwhelmed about the journey more than the actual audition. So after that horrible experience on my end and what I was going through, yeah, I never wanted to go through that again. And I can say, touch wood, it hasn't happened since. So hey, don't get me wrong, most of it's been self-tapes. But again, even with self-tapes, I always make sure that they're on time, or not even on time. I send them before the deadline, unless it's like 24 hours, but we'll ignore that bit. But yeah, just the pre-preparation in all aspects was so important. And I know, you watching this, you're probably thinking, mate, I watched all of that and that was it? Like, there wasn't any juicy gossip and stuff like that? I'm sorry. And yes, it's probably not the worst audition that you've heard or that people have shared. And I'm very grateful that this is the worst that I've had. Oh, you have no idea how much I was overthinking it forever. And I still overthink of it. Sometimes when I see the production company and that and this and that and that, I'm still like, they think I'm a terrible actor. But yeah, we all have our one-off days. We all learn. Yeah, that was my experience. But let me know what your experiences are of, you know, the worst job interview you've had. Obviously, if you're okay to share it. But yeah, just let me know I'm not alone. I don't think I'm alone. We all fluff up sometimes. But the main thing is if you learn from it. That's what I say. And I have definitely learned from that experience. So that was my worst audition experience. But I hope you enjoyed my little story today. And if there's any other type of ones that you want to hear about, yeah, just let me know what you'd like to see. And if this is the sort of thing you like me sharing with you, you know, and opening up about my experiences and whatnot. And yeah, have a great day, have a great evening wherever you are, and make sure you take care. But yeah, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Bye. I look open. If you got this far in the video, do you like my hair? I realised maybe I shouldn't have done the black background on the dark hair, but we're working with it, If you see this, let me know what you think.